Hi everybody, Laura here. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to join Hero Arts for their Spring 2023 catalog release blog hop and have a fun project to share with you using some of these gorgeous new products. First up is this beautiful color layering bee floral stencil. There's 5 stencils in the pack, and then there's also a coordinating die which I don't use, but it's called the Bee Florals Window Fancy die. You can use that to cut out your stenciled image when you're finished. Okay, so this color layering bee floral stencil, there's 5 stencils in the set, and I'm going to get to blending, which is one of my favorite things to do. So I was excited to try this. What I'm going to do is use my Misty to help line up each stencil. When it's a layering stencil and you have to get each stencil perfectly lined up, I find the easiest way for me is just to use the Misty. Okay, so in this stencil there are 3 bees, and I pointed to them. You have to be aware when you start blending that those are not blooms, those are bee wings. So I learned that the hard way because at first I was doing it the wrong color. So I wanted to make the wings just a very light, subtle color. I'm using all Hero Arts inks. This is Arctic, and I kind of masked off a little bit so I could get the Arctic ink just on the bee wings and not on the blooms. So I probably make this a lot harder than it needs to be. If you look at the back of the packaging, they did this whole stencil with yellow ink, and they made all the blooms yellow, and it was very beautiful and very easy. But I like to make things very hard and intricate, so I'm doing the blooms. This first one, little cluster, I'm doing in red with the pale tomato Hero Arts ink, and then I'm going to mask off this next little cluster, and I'm doing kind of a hot pink bloom section with Azalea. And so yeah, I mean, this gives you options. If you want to make it really simple, just blend everything yellow, so that'll give you yellow blooms and then the yellow bees. But if you want to make it step it up a notch, you can mask off and make the blooms all kinds of different colors. Okay, for my last little cluster of blooms, I'm doing Tangerine. Okay, and I'm just blending away, and you do got to be careful to not get that Tangerine where that bee wing was with the Arctic ink. Okay, this is your base coat. That stencil, I don't know if they're numbered, but this would be, to me, stencil number 1. Okay, laying on the next stencil, which is kind of the detail of the blooms and the bee body. So you got to be aware those bee bodies are going to be yellow. I don't know why it makes me laugh when I say bee body. Okay, I'm going to use the same color, kind of tone on tone, just a little bit heavier handed to get that detail on the bloom. So again, Tangerine, Azalea. At this point, it really does kind of help if you pull out a detail blender brush. I'm using some of these little small ones by Simon Says Stamp. They work great, but you can also use a regular size. Here I have Waffle Flower. I think I use about 3 different brands of brushes on this project. I love them all. I got Simon Says Stamp, Waffle Flower, Gina K. Use them all, love them all. You know what I mean? Okay, now a little lemon yellow for the body of the bee, or the bee body, or the bee box. Pow. Okay, I'm going to try not to start singing, but I can't make any promises. Okay, that's stencil number 2. I don't think they're numbered, but now the foliage. So this makes kind of a beautiful little wreath. You could do a lot of different things. Now, if you want to use that coordinating die, what it does, it cuts the inner out, kind of making a window in the center. You could turn it into a shaker. It does leave the outer kind of intact on the card base. But I loved the way it looked so smooth when it was finished and blended. I didn't want to mess anything up. So with the foliage, I'm using a base layer of green apple. Then I took out a small detail brush. With that same green apple, just giving a little gradient love on parts of it, just to make them a little bit darker. I don't know if there was some darker ink left over on my blender brush. You ever get that when you're not quite sure what color you used before? And it's a mystery what you might get, but I'm okay with that. I kind of like it. Okay, this is the detail of the foliage. So this would be stencil number 4 if you're going in order. Still with that green apple, but I needed a little more oomph, a little more va-va-va-voom. So I pulled out Fresh Lawn, and it's a little like truer green. It looks nice on top of that green apple. color, layer those together, and there you got some detail on your foliage. Now, last stencil. Again, you could stop right there, but this does add the detail to the bees and just a little more detail to the stems in the wreath. So I give just a little bit around here and there. You kind of got to look what you're doing, where you blend in, what color you want it to be. Because for the detail of the bees, you're going to want that to be black or dark. I pulled out Distress Ink and Black Soot, and I'm giving that a once over where the bee stripes and the detail of the bees are, like the little antennas and all the little bee parts that I don't know what they're called. But this looks really, really cute. There's also little dots in the center of the blooms, and it's nice when you give a little detail on that. Look at this. I mean, I was like, wow, that turned out way better than I thought it would. Okay, now for a sentiment. I am using this Floral Imprints stamp and die bundle. I'm not going to use the die. I'm just going to use the stamp. And I did a little stamp surgery. I cut the stamp where it said thank you. I cut it right in the middle, and I made it more of a vertical sentiment rather than like a long horizontal. I felt like that fit the composition better. So don't be afraid to do a little stamp surgery if need be, or if need bumblebee. And I love how this turned out. Check out the rest of the Hero Arts Spring Catalog blog hop. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.